Take My Sister Please is the third episode of the fifth season of Full House. This is directed by Zwick, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. It's an okay episode, it's definitely not a favourite, but there are some moments that I quite liked. There are two parts to the narrative that I will discuss separately, and one involves the guys and one involves the girls quite suitably. Well, Becky's lumped in with the guys because she has a childbirth class in the house, and the person leading the class is a woman called Lisa, and she is played by Nancy Valen. And honestly, Danny and Joey were a little bit creepy because they wanted to stay in the birthing class just because they thought Lisa was attractive. It was a little bit strange, but what was quite nice is that Joey and Lisa actually ended up bonding, and Danny tried to do an impression of Tom the cat, by which he means Jerry the mouse, but neither Tom nor Jerry talk. And actually Joey and Lisa had some bonding over cartoons, and it was quite sweet. So it was a little bit strange, but ended up being quite a nice part of the narrative. What I didn't love is that Becky expected Jessie to go to Mexico to get her watermelon, and she had a bit of an outburst about how Jessie should want to do everything for her because she's pregnant, and I totally just do not agree with that. Jessie had already been to the store to get her 100 bags of chips, and I'm only slightly exaggerating. So Becky's outburst wasn't exactly acceptable, and I don't think Jessie should have done everything she asked for when it includes going to Mexico to get watermelon. So not some great behaviour from Becky. Jessie did point out at one point though that they only have 2 months left until the babies arrive, which has been a very quick pregnancy, to be fair. And, well, I'll say no more than that about the twins, but it's an interesting enough part of the episode, but definitely not my favourite. The main part focuses on Stephanie. It actually starts off with the wonderful David Lascher playing Rick, and he's doing homework with DJ and Kimmy, and Stephanie comes in and embarrasses DJ, and she doesn't make Rick leave necessarily, but Rick does take the opportunity for the interruption to leave. And DJ says that because of Stephanie, she's always going to be alone, and Stephanie replies, "You'll always have me." And DJ's response was quite harsh. She said, "I don't want you." Obviously, that's not quite what she meant. She didn't mean she never wants Stephanie, but the way she said it was not necessarily the kindest. And she ends up going to Danny and pointing out that Stephanie and Michelle are now the age that DJ and Stephanie were when they used to first share a room, and then it makes sense for them to share a room now, and DJ being much older deserves her own space. Danny, to his credit, listened, and he had a very brief talk about it with Jessie and Joey, and they agreed, and DJ can get her own room. Unfortunately, Michelle doesn't want to share with Stephanie. And I don't necessarily, or I hope, it's not that she doesn't want to share with Stephanie specifically, it's just that she has her own room, and she likes her own room, and she doesn't want to share. And nobody's really paying attention to the fact that everybody is rejecting Stephanie. And that's going to hurt. And DJ ends up finding Stephanie in the bathroom because Stephanie has moved in there. It was a comical scene, and I think they did it very well. But obviously there were parts of that were kind of emotional because Stephanie was just feeling completely rejected. And I think that's a really great lesson if you are in that situation, whether you're the Stephanie or the DJ, or even the parent. I think it's a really good way of raising awareness of the fact that people are going to want their own rooms, but somebody has to share. And some people might feel quite rejected, as Stephanie did. And ultimately DJ ends up talking to Stephanie, and they sort it out, and they convince Michelle to share with Stephanie because, well, she tells her she'll give her a bag of cookies. So everybody's happy, and everybody's getting their own room. And of course that means some changes going forward with their rooms and the sets, and then with the twins being born pretty soon, things are starting to change. So things are looking very interesting for Full House. Of course I know what happens next, but looking forward to rewatching the rest of this season. And Take My Sister Please. It's not my favourite episode, but that being said, it's still a pretty good episode of Full House.